November 8th, 1920. The Aretaion Hospital in Athens. In a ward reserved for the poorest of the poor, the incurables, an old man lies dying. He has no money, no family with him. To the nurses he is just another penniless priest in an old castle. Metropolitan Nektarios, once a respected bishop, was now reduced to a nameless patient among the dying. Prostate cancer has ravaged his body for months. The pain is excruciating. Convulsions come in waves. But he never cries out. Instead, he holds on to his prayer rope, his lips moving silently in the Jesus prayer. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, sinner. On the evening of the same day, he quietly exhales his last breath. The nurses cover his face. Paralyzed man in the bed next to him, who was bedridden for years, and his legs were useless, reaches out in desperation and touches the saint's discarded sweater. In that instant, warmth surges through his legs. His muscles, which were atrophied, awaken. He stands. He walks. He shouts in astonishment and praise. The first miracle explodes at the very threshold of death. This is not a single tale. Within days, the fragrance of myrrh begins to rise from Nektarios' body. Healings multiply. The lame walk, the demon-possessed find release, the barren conceive. Cancer retreats from multiple people. By 1953, when his grave is opened, the body is found incorrupt, flexible, exuding heavenly scent. Canonized in 1961, Saint Nektarios has become the great Wonderworker of our time, especially invoked against cancer, chronic pain, heart disease, arthritis, and every form of bodily and spiritual affliction. Yet his miracles are only the fruit of a life steeped in profound humility amid continuous and relentless injustice. Born into poverty in the Ottoman Empire, falsely accused by jealous churchmen, deposed from his see, shunned in his homeland, he never responded with bitterness, but with love. On the island of Aegina, he rebuilt a ruined monastery, planted thousands of trees by hand, comforted the grieving, and taught that suffering, rightly borne, becomes the royal road to Christ. We will walk step by step through his 84 years. The childhood hunger, the late monastic call, the meteoric rise and cruel fall, the quiet years of rebuilding, the agonizing final illness, and the explosion of grace after death that continues in 2026. Through story after story, we see one truth. God exalts the humble, and the humble can bear anything when united to Christ. Anastasios Kefalas was born on October 1st, 1846, in the small Thracian town of Selivria, the fifth of 6 children in a devout but extremely poor Greek Orthodox family. Ottoman rule weighed heavily on Christian communities. Taxes were crushing, and the opportunities were few. His father was a tobacco merchant who lost everything to debt. He could barely feed the household. From his earliest childhood years, Anastasios showed an unusual seriousness about spiritual things. He loved to slip into the village church, light candles, and listen to chants. At age 14, seeing no future at home, he left for Constantinople alone. There, he found work as a shop assistant, sweeping floors before dawn, carrying heavy loads, studying by candlelight whenever he could steal a moment. He attended night school, learned ancient Greek and theology from borrowed books, and supported himself through sheer grit. In 1866, at age 20, he moved to the island of Chios to teach in an elementary school. For the next decade, he instructed village children with remarkable patience and love. Former pupils later recalled how he never raised his voice, how he explained difficult concepts until every child understood, how he shared his own lunch with the children that had none. Yet beneath this gentle exterior, a deeper longing burned. He read the Philokalia, the sayings of the Desert Fathers, the lives of saints. Monasticism called him like a distant bell. So at age 30, he presented himself at Nea Moni of Chios, one of the most ancient and revered houses in the Greek world. The abbot, seeing his maturity and dedication, accepted him. On November 7th, 1876, Anastasios was tonsured a monk and given the name Lazarus. 3 years later, he was ordained deacon and chose a new monastic name, Nektarios, sweet as nectar, because he hoped his life would pour sweetness into the bitterness of others. Already, his reputation for piety spread. He studied theology at the University of Athens, graduating with distinction. Patriarch Sophronios of Alexandria heard of the brilliant young deacon and summoned him to Egypt. There, the stage was set for both glory and betrayal. In 1885, Nektarios arrived in Cairo as patriarchal vicar, then was swiftly consecrated Metropolitan of Pentapolis, a vast, sparsely populated diocese in what is now Libya. He threw himself into the work, preaching in Arabic and Greek, building churches, establishing schools, visiting remote villages on camelback. Muslims, as well as Christians, came to hear him. His charity knew no bounds. He fed the hungry, clothed the naked, and reconciled enemies. The diocese flourished, but success breeds envy. Certain clergy in Alexandria grew resentful of his popularity and independence. Anonymous letters flooded the patriarchal office, accusing Nektarios of financial mismanagement, doctrinal error, and even immorality. The charges were completely fabricated. Sophronios, pressured and perhaps fearful of schism, recalled the bishop in 1890. Nektarios was deposed without trial, stripped of his metropolitan rank, and sent back to Athens in disgrace. He arrived extremely poor, homeless, and branded as suspect. No Greek bishop would receive him, and every door was closed. For years he lived in extreme poverty, sometimes sleeping on church benches, relying on the kindness of a few friends. But he never spoke ill of his accusers. He said, "The Lord permitted this for my salvation. Let us give thanks." In 1894, the Rizarios Ecclesiastical School in Athens offered him a teaching post, eventually becoming dean. The students there adored him. He lectured on patristics, dogmatics, pastoral theology. He wrote prolifically, over 60 books and treatises on prayer, the sacraments, Christian ethics, even poetry and philosophy. His style was clear, warm, and accessible. Thousands read him across the Orthodox world. In 1907, a fresh wave of rumors surfaced. Exhausted and sensing God calling him elsewhere, Nektarios asked to retire. A group of pious women on Aegina begged him to come and guide the small community. In 1908, at age 62, he crossed to the island and stepped onto rocky soil that would become holy ground. Aegina, in 1908, was a quiet, sun-scorched island. The ancient monastery of Holy Trinity was ruined. The roof had collapsed, the winds were crumbling, and weeds were choking the courtyard. Nektarios arrived with almost nothing. A few nuns, a handful of tools, and unshakable faith. He began with his own hands. He carried stones, mixed mortar, planted olives, and cedar saplings. Tradition says 5,000 trees in total. He slept on the ground, barely ate anything, and prayed unceasingly. Slowly the chapel rose again. Cells were built, and the garden bloomed where dust had drained. Miracles accompanied the labor. Once a severe drought threatened the island. The crops had withered, and every well had dried. The people begged Nektarios to pray. He climbed to the chapel roof at night, raised his hands, and entreated the Theotokos. By morning, clouds gathered, rain fell in torrents. Suddenly the fields were revived, and the people wept with gratitude. A young man possessed by demons was brought to him in chains. The boy raged, spat, spoke blasphemies. Nektarios laid his hands on his head and prayed quietly. The demons shrieked and fled the body. The boy fell silent, then knelt in tears, asking for forgiveness. The sick came daily. A woman with crippling arthritis walked away unassisted. A child with tuberculosis breathed freely after Nektarios blessed him. Barren couples later cradled newborns. He never claimed power for himself. "It is Christ who heals," he insisted. "I am only the unworthy servant who asks." He guided the nuns with fatherly tenderness. He taught them the Jesus prayer the value of obedience, the beauty of silence. He wrote letters of spiritual counsel that still circulate today. Do not be discouraged by falls. The important thing is to rise again with humility, he said. Pilgrims began arriving by boats. His tiny cell became a confessional, a counseling room, a place of peace. One afternoon, while planting cedars with a nun, she heard an inner voice 3 times. Leave space here, a grave will be needed. Troubled, she asked Nektarios. He smiled gently. Yes, my child, this will be my resting place. In early 1920, Nektarios felt sharp pain in his lower abdomen. He said nothing. He continued his duties. The pain worsened and he could barely stand. A nun, Euphemia, finally insisted he traveled to Athens for examination. At Aretaion Hospital, he was admitted to the charity ward. Iron beds, thin mattresses, the cries of the dying. Diagnosis: advanced prostate cancer, inoperable, terminal. The doctors offered no hope. For 53 days he endured unimaginable torment. Yet witnesses later testified. He never grumbled, never asked for morphine in excess, and never lost his serenity and his smile. Nurses marveled at his gentleness. Fellow patients found comfort by simply sitting near him. He wrote farewell letters to the nuns. Do not grieve. The Lord knows best. Continue in prayer and obedience. He forgave everyone who had ever wronged him and prayed for his persecutors by name. On November 8, as the sun set, he grew very still. At 10:30 p.m. he whispered, Lord have mercy, and reposed. The word fell silent. Then the miracles began. As the body was prepared, the paralyzed man touched the saint's sweater and walked. Word spread through the hospital like fire. When the body reached Aegina, a sweet fragrance filled the air. Myrrh, roses, incense, though no perfume had been used. Burial took place beside the Holy Trinity altar, exactly where the inner voice had directed years before. Pilgrims reported dreams. Nektarios appeared, comforting them, promising help. A woman dying of cancer touched oil from his lamp and recovered. A possessed girl was freed at his grave. The blind regained sight. By thousands people came. In 1953, the grave was opened to transfer the relics to a new marble tomb. The body was lifted intact. Thousands witnessed it. Photographs still exist to this day. The Church could no longer delay recognition. On April 20, 1961, Ecumenical Patriarch Athenagoras proclaimed Nektarios a saint. His feast was set for November 9. Since then, the miracles have not ceased. In recent years, including 25 to 2026 reports, a man paralyzed after a fall regained movement after prayer at the tomb. Icons in distant churches steamed myrrh on his feast. A child with leukemia showed humor shrink after parents venerated relics. Many faithful report that he has appeared in their churches post-repose. He is invoked especially against prostate and other cancers, but also depression, marital strife, demonic oppression, any suffering that crushes the spirit. Pilgrims to Aegina, myself included, still hear in quiet moments the gentle tapping of a shepherd's staff and his words when they touch the grave with their ear. This is his sign of presence. Saint Nektarios teaches us something radical. Suffering is not meaningless punishment, but a mystery that, united to Christ's cross, becomes redemptive. He endured poverty, slander, exile, and excruciating pain. Yet he responded with love every single time. Be patient in tribulation, he wrote. God uses every trial to draw us nearer to Him. In 2026, as cancer statistics rise, as chronic illness touches nearly every family, as mental anguish spreads, his intercession offers tangible hope. He is proof that heaven is not distant. The saints are alive, active, and loving every single one of us. If you're suffering today, physically, emotionally, or spiritually, turn to Him. Trust Him. He is always by your side. Light a candle and pray simply. Holy Saint Nektarios, Wonderworker, pray to God for me. Many have found relief, and many more have found peace when healing came in another form. May his prayers enfold us. May we learn from his humility, and may we, like him, rise from every fall, because the one who raised him from death is the one who waits to raise us all.